Recording. Pushing the button.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Yippee.
Is anybody out there? Hello! I wonder if they can even hear this or if it's just for us and we're just going to be coming back with, hello!
The echo.
There we go. Hello, Mrs. Ryan.
Hello. Not an echo.
No, I turned it off now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today is... Oh, my gosh. Did I just make it dark? Oh, my God. What's happening? Mrs. Ryan, the whole thing's on the fritz.
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. I think it's because I don't have my glasses. I think that's the issue. I can't see shit. That's old guy syndrome. Can't see shit. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, February 26th, 2019. I'm going to get the marbles out of my mouth. We're going to get everything started up here. Our guest today is Alex MacNicoll, and I'm going to tell you all about who he is and how we know him in a little bit. But until then, Mrs. Ryan, how the hell are you? Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm exhausted, but I'm in a great mood.
Why are you exhausted?
Because I'm in so much pain, and so my body turns that into like, I'll just deal with it internally.
What's the pain about? I know it's MS pain, but what's it? Where are you? What kind?
My whole body feels like it's constricted today.
Oh, God, that's so weird. But you sometimes take a thing and wrap yourself anyway to constrict yourself further.
That's different. That's just for my heart, because that feels like it's weak sometimes. But this feels like a tree's in my body.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, I'm so sorry.
That's just how it goes. But
look
it
at you with the
me
smile.
tired. I know.
It's impressive.
And I walk like a deer. But I'm super inspired by this weekend, so it's all fine.
Oh, that's so cute. You do like a baby deer when they're kind of...
Figure it out.
Very funny. A fawn with their spots.
Yeah, that's me. That's
right.
how I am. I'm a fawn.
All right. It looks like our levels are a little bit hot here. Bring that down just a tad. How's that? There we go. All right. All right. We should probably... The weekend was crazy. We made a video. It's very short. Let's just play it because we have tons of stuff to play before we get Alex MacNicoll in here.
Okie doke.
I'm emphasizing the Mac because I learned that it was a Mac just before the...
4 seconds ago.
Yeah. Now I'm leaning into it heavy. All right. Roll it, Hal, this weekend.
Just some diehards today. It was an adventure getting here.
Last one looks like Nefertiti. Am I tripping? Am I reading too into things here? It's pretty undeniable.
She does what she wants.
Do they leave room for cream?
Wow. How cool. Good job.
It's nice that you have that.
That was a really fun.
No tears. That's good.
No, I'm not. It was so much fun. I've thought about that day so often since then.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, the cars and coffee. Like, to me, that's what it's about. It's like the friends that you meet at those places and the things and getting to see people. And
Yeah, major credit to the Cars and Coffee guys, the Cars and Coffee Los Angeles, where we were there, because I feel like they have done a good job of creating the Breakfast Club thing that we did.
Totally.
It's like, oh, this is a Cars and Coffee. It's really just a Cars and Coffee. It's in a beautiful location. But it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a parking lot where you have to half avoid getting run over by cars too. It's a locked off little location, so it's, you know what I mean? It's safe. It's safe. It's only us and our people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like only the like-minded
It's
people.
a nice little community that's like they're the spawn of them, and
Agreed.
It's so fun.
Agreed. All right, Mrs. Ryan, moving right along. I'm going to give you some choices. We've got multiples. Do you want to go behind the curtain, or do you want to go back east?
Behind the curtain, please.
Okay. I don't know where we should start there. And now this one's up to me. I give you... All right, then I'm going to... We'll start here. This is actually from last week.
Oh,
yeah, roll it.
Okay.
Roll it out.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan. This is Paul Kennel from Behind the Orange Curtain. So sorry I missed you at Breakfast Club. I really wanted to come. And in that 2011 Boxer Spider was going to be my steed for the day. But I chickened out. The roads looked like they were a mess, and this was a customer's car I just wanted to try out. Plus, as you can see, I've got a full house of cars that just came in, including this super cool and rare Dynan 333i. It is the first full Dynan built car when Steve Dynan opened his shop up in Mountain View. Really cool car. Hopefully I'll bring it to Cars and Coffee this weekend and you guys will get to see it. Miss you guys. Once again, really sorry. And by the way, next Friday, March 1st, all day is our annual open house. It is our 10th annual open house. Can't believe we've done 10 of these already. It's a cool way just to hang out after you guys do Breakfast Club. Come on down, get some pizza and other grub, and hope to see you all then. So Friday, March 1st from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Auto Kennel Open House. If you go to our website, autokennel.com, all the details, it's free. Just come play hooky and hang out with your Porsche friends. Take care. Love you guys.
We love you right back.
Love
buddy.
him.
Love him right back. All right, so that was that. I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll save. I'm going to save the other Auto Kennel for tomorrow.
Okay.
All right? It's an ouchie update. I'll tell you that much.
We'll
it's an ouchie update for Tortuga.
Save that for tomorrow.
So we'll save that for tomorrow. But in the meantime, because there are multiples here, let's just blast over to the East Coast.
Okay.
Up to Westchester County Airport and check in with Danbury Chive. See what's going on with Brooke and the Kazman. Roll it out.
Ryan, it is Brooke and the Kazman coming to you live from Westchester Airport in White Plains. We are headed to West Palm Beach? West Palm Beach, yeah. Our flight's delayed like 3 hours. We're not leaving until midnight. It's going to be great. Uncle George is here in the background. Brooke's watching something. Say hi to Jay and Nicole.
Oh my god.
She hates when I do that. Love you guys. Random East Coast feed coming to you live. Westchester Airport. We'll talk to you when we get down to West Palm. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my.
5 hours later. Roll it out.
This is Ryan. After 6 hours sitting in the airport, 3 hours in the air, and 1 fucking hour to get here. We're at Club Suzette. It's Brooke and the Kazman with Uncle Mike. Say hi to Jay and Nicole.
Hey, Jay. Me and you, girl? Boy.
Well, girl can be Nicole.
Nicole. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Nicole, me and you, girl. All right?
So we want to send you some love at 5 in the morning Eastern Standard Time here in West Palm Beach. We will be checking in periodically, and I hope you guys enjoy the day. We're going to go to bed now. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's so early.
So what?
Early at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
late?
I mean, really
Or
late.
late.
I'm thinking that, yeah, I mean, I'm totally forgiving Uncle Mike there because it's so stinking early, late, whatever. They're, I'm sure, all high as a kite, and then look like the bottom of a mug of something that I'm certain was alcoholic.
Yeah.
So, no judgments there. I hope they all got a good night's sleep after that one.
Yes.
Because meanwhile, I believe the next morning, roll it, Hal.
Ryan, Brooke, and the Kazman and Uncle Mike coming to you live from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Opening day for the Mets. Now, I know you're talking to Steve Heitner and how much of a sports fan you're not, And the competition's happening right behind us. But notice, Brooke is representing her Boston Red Sox hat while wearing the Mets 7-line Army shirt. So we're here enjoying a wonderful game in 88-degree weather. We're back home, it's 27 and fucking horrible. We miss you guys. We love it. It's fantastic. Hope you have a good day. You guys want to say anything? Brooke, anything?
Yeah, I'll do my Crocodile Dundee impression, bro.
And Brooke has nothing to say. But she likes being friends with you on Instagram.
I love you, Jay Ryan.
Bye, guys.
Oh my.
She likes being friends with on Instagram?
Yeah. That's what I heard.
Maybe she's looking at something different than I am.
Oh no.
No, I'm not trying to be problematic here. Last time I looked, which was last week on the show. Yeah, we're in follow back mode.
So she's just a
I don't know.
peeper.
I don't know.
Enjoy spring training, guys.
Whatever it is, I'm happy for everybody. One last one. Roll it, Hal.
I'm Brooke and the Kazman coming to you from Club CZ live. Behind us, Uncle George, Uncle Mike. We got music playing. We're just chilling with these palm trees and whatnot behind us. You know, it's kind of paradise-like. Except for the guy that's clearing the branches back there. That's that buzzing sound. Sorry about that, but Brooke can't see. We should go this way so you can see a little bit better. Anyway, love you guys. Just want to send you some random love from West Palm, our random-ass weekend with the family. Right, babe? Yeah. Boom. Love you guys.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I'm happy for them.
Me too.
They definitely appear to be having a good time, and I'm very happy that they're down there with Uncle George. Because with you both, Uncle George and Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike's so great. They all seem to be quite out of it.
I did notice
Have
that.
I gotten more with it, or is everyone else getting more out of it?
I'm going to say both.
Oh, I'll take it. Thanks.
I haven't met the older gentleman, Uncle Mike and Uncle George, yet, so...
Right.
But I've heard great stories, so
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a blast.
That's awesome. All right, Mrs. Ryan, we've gotten all of that stuff out of the way. It's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind.
Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun. What's going on?
What's going on?
There was an airline passenger in China who threw coins into the engine
Oh.
for good luck.
Oh, God.
Now, here's the thing. Thankfully, the plane couldn't take off because what a disaster that would have been. But this goes to my point, kind of like when I was bringing up the lady that had a baby in the flight
Just the other day,
just recently. This is one of those instances where it's, okay, let's all back up. Let's all take a step back and release all of our judgments because I have plenty. But let's just let it go and say, okay, clearly that's a cultural difference.
Oh.
Maybe someone around could have been like, oh, no, we don't do that here. And just a heads up before a whole plane was ruined. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's compassionate ways to, like, have these conversations without ignoring them and letting things happen.
Was it 1 penny? Was it a quarter? Was it a handful?
They only
of
found a
change?
couple on the ground.
But either way, that's a few. It's more than a...
It was a handful.
I don't buy it.
I
I
do.
don't buy that it was wish them good luck. It was like somebody didn't want their ex-wife to take off or something. You know what I mean? Some other bullshit.
Either way, someone saw someone like toss a handful of coins. Like, heads up. But be compassionate. Let's bridge the gaps where we can, I think, is my point. And a real life example of this is that an Amtrak train got stranded on trip's the wrong word, but whatever, the flight's the wrong word too. But
Leg?
it was like sure, from Seattle to LA because a tree fell and the snow covered it and they didn't see it. Whatever, they were
So
stranded
did it
there.
hit the tree and then derail? Is that what happened? Not derail like a crash, but derail off the track.
That's what I heard and surmised, and but hopefully by the time this airs, like they should be fine. It was supposed to be fixed today.
Yeah.
So good luck. But it sounds like
They were stuck in the snow for a couple days, I think, since like Friday is what I heard.
Yeah, I heard discrepancies in the reports of how long.
Gotcha.
But
Either way, though,
way,
that sounds to me... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it sounds like the nicest version of a stranded story I've heard. It sounds way nicer than any airline that's like, 15 minutes, we didn't get enough peanuts.
You mean the people on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different, too.
Totally.
You're on the ground. You know what I mean? It's not claustrophobic. You're not stuck in a tube with all those people breathing the same air and all that stuff. Either way, though, that sounds to me... Oh, sorry, go ahead. You mean the people on it? Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different, too. You know what I mean? It's not claustrophobic. You're not stuck in a tube with all those people breathing the same air and all that stuff. I'm not sure, but anyway, it sounds to me like a murder on the Orient Express, where they got caught in the snow and they got stuck. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
but
is
so
why
far everyone's alive.
I love riding on trains. Like, that's a rad idea.
But so far everyone's alive.
Yes, as far as I know.
They haven't eaten each other yet. It's not a Donner Party situation. We don't know.
Not yet. They've gone through all the reserves of food they had. So good job.
All right.
Something that I see as like the start of a holistic boon to come out of all this technological nonsense, like CRISPR and whatever.
I don't even know her.
All of those like gene editing and like we can create a person and like we can recreate organs, all that stuff. There's reasons for it and there's purposes sometimes, but it's not like I don't think everyone needs a designer kit. Do each his own. But what they are, on the flip side, like the really awesome thing that's coming out of stuff like CRISPR is that they're using the technology to look backward into processes that they thought they understood. So they're figuring out more about DNA than they have before. They're figuring out genome structures that are like super fascinating and how it works. And the one thing, the thing I was reading about is that they figured out that our bodies actually have a built-in steroid system to combat inflammatory shit already. We don't need to be taking stuff all the time. If we really slow our bodies down and let it do what it's supposed to do, all that stuff's really there. But they're finding it by trying to replicate it improperly. So good things are coming out of it.
Everything's in us, though, right? All of the hormones and chemicals and all of the things. Like we have the ability to, like that. What's the one that they talk about that Joe Rogan talks about? The God, MDMA, MDM. There's
different, yes.
But I don't want to screw it up and say the fucking it's not
MDMA
the octagon
is the
fighting
drug.
one. The one that you take.
MDMT is the one I think that you take.
Gotcha. Well, God, no, I don't remember where I was going with that. But the point is, whatever that drug, ecstasy, right? It's essentially ecstasy. Yeah, we make that. You know what I mean? All that is just a big solid dose of it. So I just don't know where the surprise is to people that like, oh, we have this in us already, or we have the ability to secrete this, or whatever.
The surprise is that a lot of people don't believe that we have it because we've been able to make synthetic versions of shit that works way faster than stuff we actually slow down enough to manifest ourselves. So it is similar. You can do all the shit yourself. And for me, personally, it helps to know the pathway with which things happen sometimes. Because otherwise I hold on, you tell me all the time, I hold on to the wrong parts. So I'm like trying to fix something that's too far down the line without fixing the foundations first sometimes.
Often you'll go to the symptom instead of the problem. Yeah, that's a people problem. That's not just a you problem.
Right. So this whole thing that what they're finding out is like a way to give people information so they can do it themselves. If you pay attention, you have all this shit in you. It's all there. And this is just a different way to show you how to access it.
I like it.
So there's that. And then finally, here's, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I smile when I say it because there's so many thoughts I have. Men's heels are becoming a thing now. And I did not know that. And I saw a couple headlines and I was like, no, this is a joke. The dates don't align. It's not April Fool's. Like, whatever. I saw a bunch of photos. Now, here's the deal. When there were heels on cowboy boots initially, that was a purpose. Like, it was to help so they didn't get stuck in saddles, I believe, or something. So they could release easier. This just seems like pure fashion. So I say, enjoy the shit out of it because it is so uncomfortable, but maybe now you'll know. And I'm so curious to see the ideas that come out of this. It's going to cause so much pain for people that wear them, but it's going to be the most innovative Kickstarter to be like, ouchie, how do you fix it?
I don't even know where to begin with this. I can't even follow what the issue is. Are we talking about the fact that there's men's heels or all of this other stuff that apparently you feel that women have been down for so long that men should now know what it's like? And
no, I don't. I don't care about that stuff anymore. I think it's an odd choice. I don't know why men think they need to be wearing heels.
I guarantee women are telling them to. These designers or something. You know what I mean? It's not, the guys aren't just going like, I think that'd be a good idea.
Christian Louboutin is a man designer of shoes, and he's one of the ones at the forefront of this.
Yeah, then it's time.
Good luck. Have fun.
Erase the whole divide. Nobody knows what they're doing out there.
Everyone's everything.
There you go. Good point, Mrs. Ryan. That's it.
That's it.
And that's been What's Going On. All right, Mrs. Ryan. Let us take a quick break and bring in Alex MacNicoll. Tell everybody how we met. We met up at Breakfast Club up at Newcomb's. That's why I wore this shirt today. Throwback.
It's a really neat story.
Throwback. But you probably know him from Transparent, as a bunch of other things. He'll be in here in a few minutes. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff, as well as where he's going to be starting next week. Not here. All right. More after this. Alex MacNicoll going to be sitting right here in this chair when we come back. More to come. Bring it on back.
Yeah.
All right, we are back. Sitting here with Alex MacNicoll.
Thank
Get
you for
wherever
the,
you want to be, and then bring the mic to you.
Oh, okay, this is good. No, I appreciate you saying my name like that.
That is proper, yeah?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's start with the fact that we met you up at Newcomb's one day, and I'll just tell the story real quick. You came in and we do the usual, hey, good morning, how's it going? As if we're the mayors of the place.
There. Yeah.
And you came up with a girl, I'm sure I can probably say that, and you walked down to the other side, and you sort of looked familiar to me, and I thought to myself, oh, okay, Breakfast Club. I didn't see what kind of car you guys got out of, but I assumed it was, you were part of our group. Yeah, I did.
It wasn't a Porsche.
I really did assume that.
But yeah.
So one I went over and started, hey, how's it going? Good to see you again, something like that. I'm like, and you kind of made a face, and I was like, have we not met? Because that's kind of a weird dick thing to.
No,
are you running for something, sir?
Yeah,
I'm like, no. And one thing led into the other, and it was like, no, this is my first time here. Oh, okay. Well, you look familiar. Blah blah blah. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. Blah blah blah. Sorry about your crutches or whatever.
Yeah.
And whatever. And I went back with my wife, and we had our group and whatever. And then kind of, how every once in a while it pops into your mind like, oh, I know that guy from the grocery store or from the whatever. And I was like, he kind of looks like the guy from Transparent, but it took me a minute to get to Colton from Transparent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The crutches, they were deceiving. They threw you off.
Also, just in general, I thought you were somebody we actually knew, not somebody I knew from a television show, because I don't normally get. You know what I mean? And it's like,
sure.
Totally out of
your money
context.
from,
Yeah.
But one thing led to another, and sure enough, it was, what's your name? And I am, oh yeah, you are the guy. That's okay. We don't know you, but we're a fan of your work.
Thank you.
And then we told you what we did, and said, hey, do you want to be a guest? And you said, absolutely.
Yeah. How could I not?
And that's where we are.
Yeah.
So you had crutches when we first met you. You're still a little bit.
I should still have them, but I don't. But yeah, tore my meniscus and had surgery, and then I'm recovering. So.
But what happened there? Is there a story? Were you skateboarding?
No,
or?
I was indoor rock climbing, and I was up on the wall, and I was like, I did like a pistol squat move, and all my weight was on my knee, and my little weak knees couldn't hold all my weight. So when I boosted up and I jumped, it just popped, and then I knew. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's weird, and then I couldn't move my leg. But
oh my God! So it did actually make a pop sound. And
everything. That's what they say. Yeah, I was glad it wasn't ACL or MCL or any of that stuff, because that's much worse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but you still had to have surgery, so they went in there.
Surgery, and then it was actually one of my best friend's dads. Because oddly enough, I was gonna go see my buddy Juno. Shout out Dr. Lee. Over at Hollywood Presbyterian.
Dr. Juno Lee over at Hollywood?
So Juno's his son. That's my friend.
Oh, I see.
Dr. J. Lee is is an incredible orthopedic surgeon. He's been doing it for 3 decades, maybe 4. And I had totally forgot about that. I knew Juno's dad was in the medical field, but I didn't really know what he did. And I was actually supposed to see Juno that night when this happened, and I was calling him to be like, hey, man, I can't come by. I got to go to the hospital. I think my leg's messed up. And he was like, well, what's wrong with your leg? And I told him, what happened? And he was like, dude, let me call my dad. And I was like, what do you mean? Like what? And then I figured he had a connection in the medical industry, but he was like,
and a good one for you right now.
Right
now.
Yeah, but he
exactly
would,
right now.
But I was like, oh, maybe his dad knows somebody that can help me out or whatever.
Meanwhile,
but he
he's
was like,
let me call my dad and tell him your shit.
Yeah, and he called me right back, and his dad got me in the next morning at 5:30 a.m. and they did surgery literally the next day, which was incredible.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
so it was like super fortunate and lucky and.
Well, and also you needed it.
Juno.
You needed it.
Yeah, and it was awesome. Yeah, so they salvaged my meniscus.
All right. Well, we only met you a couple weeks ago, and you're already off the crutches, so it must have gone well. Good for you.
Really well. Yeah, really good. Again, Dr. J. Lee, 501 South Virgil Ave.
There we go.
That's his place. Yeah.
Fair enough. Good for you.
But no, I had such a blast. That was my first time in Newcomb's Ranch. I had never been there before. And
so what drove you guys up there if it wasn't Breakfast Club?
So Holly, the lovely woman I was with, she loves Mount Wilson. She loves that whole area, and she, I think, came across Newcomb's Ranch one time when she was exploring the area. She just was driving along.
Awesome.
And
It's
just
the only thing up there, yeah.
Right. And then she was like, "Oh my God! Like there's this amazing biker bar, club, like
totally all the above,
thing.
yeah. On the weekends,
like,
it's hardcore bikers.
Yeah. And she was like, it's so cool. You got to go. So we had been making, we had like the plans to go at some point in life, and then that day we just were like, what are you doing this morning? Nothing. Want to go to Newcomb's Ranch?
Wow.
Sure. So we went, and then then there was like 3 other people other than you two, I think, and the lovely, I don't want to say bartender, but she was behind the bar.
Danny.
But it was more of a waitress at that setting. But what was her
But it was
name?
Danny, yeah, of course. She's a family member to us.
Yeah, everybody was so sweet and so kind, and and then there was also a gentleman next to me who just was really friendly, and it was like the nicest little.
It's a family spot up there, especially if you're there on a Friday morning like that, for sure.
It feels like, this is like cheesy and weird, but it feels like a weird little heavenly, you know what I mean? It's like a bunch of little spirits coming to hang out and talk, shoot the shit, and then just leave, and go off on their own way again. Yeah, but it was really, really cool.
I love that because there's a lot of old souls go up there.
Yeah.
A lot of creative people, a lot of artists.
Yeah, and then you were so friendly and outgoing and stuff, and it was like I was still,
which is not me, by the way. That's so not me. It was just, it was like, oh, I thought you were there, and I had a thing, and it was just, it was a moment.
Oh, really?
Meant to be, yeah.
No, I don't.
Yes.
Usually, I just sit. I don't ask anybody who go. I don't walk around shaking hands. That's the professor and certain other people.
Okay, yeah, because I was blown away by your outgoingness, and I was like, oh man, I need that.
Then it was meant to be.
But yes, hello, and all that,
Then it was meant to be for sure.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah, and then when you told me your story and stuff, I was really excited, and I'm super glad we get to do this and stuff. And I don't know, I mean, well, people can see this, right?
This is it. I mean, it's just like
this is
television.
Your whole awesome apartment, or just here?
Right now, we're just in the studio.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Have they seen your apartment?
No, you want to do a handheld walk around?
I mean, a limp around.
A limp around.
No, it's amazing. It's a really lovely, lovely
thanks,
place.
man. That's so nice of you.
Yeah.
You've only seen the living room. That's so nice.
Well, yeah. Well, what I've seen, yeah. So
it all fits together.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to talk about your acting career for a minute, since I mean that would probably be good for you on a talk show and everything to talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, Transparent, I know, but your IMDb is longer than just Transparent. Tell us, tell some other things that you're happy to have worked on.
Well, it all started with Killer Kids on the ID channel. I don't know if you watch Discovery. It's good.
She ruined the television that's in the master bedroom. Is a 65-inch television. It's way too big for a TV, but it used to. I mean, for a bedroom. Yeah. But it used to be the living room TV, except that she watched nothing but Discovery ID for so long. From when we got it, that she burned in the little diagonal ID logo in the bottom into the corner of it.
Do you still have that TV?
It's in the bedroom,
That's
way
so
too
cool.
big for the room because
channels.
the TV is it's the last plasma, last Panasonic dark black plasma, and I can't get rid of it.
See, you should reach out to the ID people and see if they want to put it in their lobby. You know what I mean?
In
when
their
they're coming
museum.
In and just because it's so cool. Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty rad. I probably know your episode.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah. But
So yes. Anyway, she absolutely used to watch that stuff.
No,
so
it's
maybe
it's good quality true crime stuff. It's a lot of really fucked up stories. Can we say that?
Yeah. So what was
really
it
bad.
Specifically? What was the show, and do you know it?
I do know the show. The show is about kids that kill their parents usually,
or anybody.
Or
but
adults.
Usually it is their parents, But it's like
just because who else do they know?
Right, yeah. But no,
it's terrifying, but it's really like when you look at them as adults and you break down their behavior, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, this was messed up because it was two guys that on lunch break they took one of their classmates out with them into the woods and they shot her and they just murdered her. And and then they were like, it was just one of those weird things where like I guess they got questioned after and they were kind of just like, I don't know, we just thought it'd be cool. Like we thought, it's just really fucked up and morbid.
Wanted to know what it felt like, kind of thing.
Yeah, really weird. But yeah, and they were in these two guys. But I did.
So were you one of the guys?
I was one of the kids.
Oh,
yeah,
you bastard!
I know. Yeah, but that was like my first kind of TV.
Were you the one who had to go? Like, oh, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to know.
Yeah. I think so. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was me and this other guy, Farley Jackson, and we.
He's asking for it.
No. Yeah, but we. Yeah,
he's an actor who was made for that role.
Yeah.
Oh, Farley Jackson took her in the woods.
Yeah, that's a great name. Yeah,
Farley Jackson and the rest of the Jackson boys.
Yeah. But he was great, man. It was really cool, and like it's good. I mean, great being and for the acting role, but like not for the story, obviously. But like, that's really good.
So that's where you started, though.
Yeah, a little plug for ID.
How did I mean, was that just a regular cattle call?
I just submitted for the audition, online and.
But through Craigslist.
No. Okay, so there's like websites like Actors Access, LA Casting Frontier, all these things. Yeah, and you make a profile. It's kind of like Craigslist. Then you submit or you.
Sounds like a scam to me, but it seemed to work for you.
Honestly, it's like you got to do what you got to do, and it's like
no, it seems like a scam on them, but it worked for you.
Right. Yeah. No, like they definitely, I'm sure, make money off of because you got to pay a certain amount of money.
I'm sure you do. Faces International. I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but they do get legitimate stuff and a lot of illegitimate stuff. But yeah, it's just you submit and get an audition and you go to it and you try to get it and sometimes you get it.
That's so wild, but you did, and it's led to other things.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that specifically led to other things. But
all right, well, I don't know what's going on with Transparent nowadays. I know that you said there's another season in the can and stuff, but what I remember specifically about it is when that show hit. Yeah. I don't know how or why or what was going on in my life at the time, but for whatever reason, we had the availability to like binge the day it came out. Didn't know it was coming out or anything. Just kind of showed up on the thing. Yeah. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh, Jeffrey Tambor. I love him from everything. Yeah. And went at it and was so blown away that I thought it was like the most important. Like at least the first season was like the most important television I'd seen in a very, very long time. Yeah. Because it was so real. It was so. It wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect. You know what I mean? The family dynamics and all that stuff. Yeah, because we all feel that stuff. Yeah. It isn't perfect. Life isn't perfect.
No, it's messy. Yeah. That's like I think one of the mottos of I think maybe it was season 2 or something. It was like "Let's get messy." That was kind of the motto of the whole.
The tagline for the campaign.
Yeah.
But you came on at the end of season 1, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like? Because I remember then once I saw it. Everybody else, of course, saw it, and that everything blew up. It was this is the show, this is the show, this is the stuff. What was it like being part of that tidal wave?
It was incredible. It was like so. I'll give you a real quick background to it. I was in Austin, Texas, working on a football movie called My All-American at the time, and I got an audition for a high school football player, corn-fed kid. And I was like, all right, cool, I can do that, but
nailed it.
Yeah, so I was like, but so while I was shooting this football movie, I was like, this is great. I'll do my a slate, where you kind of say like your name, your height, wherever you're from, and all that. And I'll do it in my football pads because I have them here on set. So I did them in the trailer with my buddy Richard Conkey, and we just did this little slate. And I think that kind of added a little bit to it also. So, but yeah. So and then I did the read, and I got a call back in L.A. And luckily it was like right as the movie was finishing because I was in Austin, Texas. So I got to come back and actually audition for it. Worked out perfectly. And when I did, it was with Jill Soloway and Edie Belasco and Jay Duplass, who would be the character's father, biological father, and so it's funny because me and Jay are very different in a lot of ways, and similar, but it's just funny like aesthetics or look wise, it was like
I didn't buy it when you showed up. I was like, and it is going to turn out to not be because it doesn't look like Rita or
So it was funny how it all worked out, but it was one of the most fun auditions I've ever had, and it was like they were so just sweet, and we were eating granola bars and just improvising and riffing and just making jokes and and then I kind of left being like, I mean, if it works out, great, and if not, I can see why because I don't look like him, but we'll see. And and it worked out.
But the chemistry was so good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like, there it was really felt really nice. And
that must have felt good for you as an accomplishment of wow, man, just that fitting in so well.
It's so nice to have like a warm room and people, just being friendly and open and real. And then so we went and shot it, and nobody had any idea that it would be what it was, but let alone, because actually when Jill was starting it, it was kind of early on in the streaming platform, TV, like that whole, platform, that whole.
They kind of made Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean, they were the
certainly
face
one of their big ones,
flagship shows.
Yeah, and she would kind of pitch it to people. I think I remember her saying like as a web series, like at the time, like she was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. She like didn't really know how to like. Refer to it because it was like a TV show, but it was on the web, and and
it was full half hour, not just 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. And they had shot this great pilot for it, and which ended up being the pilot episode, and that was available that I got to watch before auditioning for it, and I was like, oh.
So they did do it separate. That's old school TV, and that's something the streamers don't often do, which is a pilot and then.
A lot of times, they just get the full order nowadays, and for like 8 episodes or 5 or 10.
It's nice for continuity and for rushing it out, but sometimes the product is not what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then you're committed to a bunch of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So no, it was cool, and it was a very personal story to her. It was around her father and his story, and it was just one of the most. I tell people like because people that I come across are like, I don't think I'd be for me. I'm not really, I don't know. I don't think I'd like. And I'm like, well, it's a very human show. It
has nothing to do with the content matter. Yeah.
It's a family, and it's just, it's all the things. It's love.
It's the human dynamics.
All these
showing
things.
How people relate and how they enact with each other. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like everybody that actually has watched it or given it, the chance, actually really likes it and enjoys it, and it's, because it's so real. Yeah.
I think if anything, it made me feel like I was a better person because I was like, wow, these fucking kids are deplorable.
Oh yeah.
They're so shit. They're just so selfish.
That's another thing people say. They're like, there's no likable characters, but yet I love them.
But it's the human condition.
That they love.
Everything that's wrong with them, we all have in us.
Yeah, totally.
Some of us have better control over it than others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all got the ego.
I know. Yeah. Don't remind me.
I know, right? No, you got it. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, it's
keep yours in check.
Yeah. Seriously, but it's amazing. It's really and really special. And I think because it was so personal to Jill and her family, like that's also by her going so deep into that and just being open and vulnerable with it and expressing it and showing people. I think people connect that too because the whole saying, "What's most personal is what's most universal," and what really we think might make us different actually really makes us similar. And
whatever you're hiding that you are afraid is going to make you stand out is probably the thing that's going to ingratiate you with everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's wild how that works.
Yeah.
We build the walls. We don't realize we're doing it over the years, but over the years, they can be big.
It's really interesting. It's like the paradox or this whole life is just such a funny like what goes up must come down. What goes down comes up, and there's such a balance to it, and there is such a weird like what I think is like when I'm so sure of something. I end up being like kind of hypocritical in a way, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what the like?
Because you can't know anything, right?
Yeah.
If you really, the only thing you can know is that you'll never know anything.
Right. Yeah. And once we can let go of that and like live in that, it's just nice. Everything kind of seems to flow nicely and things happen and Right.
Then the magic you find you get in that swim we like to call the flow.
Yeah. It's really nice. And
all right. Well, we sound like a bunch of hippie potheads now, and I want to bring up. When telling you our story about how and why we started this whole thing and my wife and why she had a cane and stuff like that, we talked about MS.
Why she was smoking the pot.
Well, you asked me the first question. You said, I don't want to get too personal, but has she tried medicinal cannabis as a therapy for her MS? And I said, yes, as a matter of fact. But we got to it. We didn't start there. We started with the shots and with the dove and the fucking grenades and all the little things and the IVs and all of the things.
And how long ago was this too, by the way? For you
guys? 2011, I think.
Diagnosed in 2011, I would say.
So treatment in 12. That's when 12 June.
Yeah, because also at that time, medicinal marijuana is still going through a lot of trial stuff. I remember, because I graduated in 2011, and in college I did a paper on the benefits of medicinal marijuana from an economic standpoint, just for straight, not even medicinal purposes, even though it's been proven with MS and, like all tons
Pick
of
a direction, I don't care. It's beneficial for
exactly.
everyone.
Yeah, and then hemp too, just in general too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense because at that time it was kind of. Were you in California at that time?
We were.
So,
We've always been in California. It was a matter of I never smoked pot. She never smoked pot. We both had tried it a couple times throughout life. Never liked it. You know what I mean? Sure. So it was our own little thing, hang-ups. And we were both drinkers, of course, and they don't often. You know what I mean? It's kind of a different drive. So it was once we sort of got healthy from the rearrangement of things and got, stopped drinking just because it was not healthy and et cetera, and then almost like, I don't know, do you ever have like a weird craving for a food you've maybe never even eaten before, but for whatever reason your body needs like iron now or whatever the heck? It was almost like that where it was like, wait a second, the universe aligned, and for some reason it got through my thick head of we should try this. We should just look into it. Just look into it. And that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we were never into it recreationally. I think that's like something I always feel the need to point out because like we didn't accidentally stumble into the benefits of it that I think some people can and have and whatever. It was an active choice and something that like I fight every day because I still catch myself having judgments about it. And it's like, you have to drop all that stuff because it's really just another thing. But like when he told me
it's
that
more
was
of your own hang-ups, your own walls.
When he said it was the first thing you asked, my heart just exploded for you because it's like it's literally nothing that any doctor I went to, and I went to really expensive, lots of specialists. Not one of them brought it up. Not one of them addressed lifestyle, and they had the full dossier of like how I lived my life. So like. It's crazy to see the difference in mindset that some people have, and I'm so grateful that you do.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's maybe a lot about because, we're talking personal hang-ups, and for doctors, I would assume, like, be getting brought up in medical school, going through the culture that it's been, where it's like, where marijuana gets put up with, like, cocaine or with heroin or all these other drugs, it's like kind of like I can assume that, and also if they're getting backed by pharmaceutical companies or something, it's like, of course they're going to be like, no, you don't need, that pot's stupid, like, try this drug, So,
but now that they're getting into it, now that it's big businesses, Bayer and everybody else, Monsanto, they're all getting involved in making
so
it.
Fucked,
Well, it is, and it, you know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword because now it's going to be available. Now people who need it can have it. It's going to be different. I don't know. I mean,
And also just all the lives that, I mean, it's like hard to not get hung up on the past, but it's like all the lives that have been, people get thrown in jail for smoking pot, and it's like their lives have been ruined like 10, 15 years ago. Or
did you read just today, San Francisco is expunging thousands of
really?
A lot of places in California are, but San Francisco as of today, like 10,000 former. They're overturning and expunging the records.
That's great. I didn't read that.
Because it just doesn't make sense, It's kind of like,
And these aren't even people who are in jail. There's people who just have it on their record that for whatever reason it's always been on the record in a job or whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
And then also people with, like medical issues that like could have maybe had different outcomes or could have been saved a lot of time and, pain and stuff like that never got to experience that because they were, trying to give them prescription drugs for something or, it
changes your focus. Like it puts it on the fix versus the how do you live and like I became really conscientious all the time of did I have my medicine with me if I traveled? Like was I bruised in a place where that would be,
there was so much stuff to it too.
Yeah, and a lot in the summer like I wore sleeveless dresses, like was a bruise going to be visible? Like all that weird shit that like other people don't have to think about. So this is just really different. It's really, to me, it's just a lifestyle difference, like a massive overhaul of your lifestyle. But that sounds horrible to a lot of people. So I'd like, and it did to me too. I'd rather shoot myself up with stuff every day. Like the bruises were less problematic than like uprooting my life until my life got uprooted.
That's
what it is.
It's hard. It's you having to make that adjustment with with all that. I don't know, what it's like, but I can only imagine,
Do you know much about the history of, like, weed and stuff? No, weed and stuff, because here's what I'm curious about. Everybody that I know, and here's where I don't fit into this category because I didn't used to, everyone says that weed these days is more stronger, it's different, whatever, blah, 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 than it used to be. I, for some reason, always had, and it's probably from both Reefer Madness and Nancy Reagan, but I always thought that, like, if you smoked pot, you were, at the very least, not very productive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let alone whatever else people thought of it, you in society, blah, blah,
Vagrant.
blah. But at the very least, you were a fucking lazy bum.
Right. If you play video games, it's like you're like...
Yeah,
If you're on Instagram for how many hours a day, you're like, in my mind, it's like... What's the difference, you know?
Well, that's where... But what I'm finding is the moment I got anywhere near this stuff is that the people I'm surrounding myself with who partake... Most of them daily. I think daily. I mean, some of the people who are in this business, I'm assuming daily. They're incredibly productive people. They're incredibly successful people. They're incredibly put together people. People that I would think, oh man, they've got their, you know what I mean? Their mind is clear. They've got their shit together. They don't have a bunch of baggage that they're still carrying on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So was I misled over the years, or is the new weed different, or have we all just evolved and adapted and we can handle it better? You know what I mean? Do you have any thoughts on that stuff?
I think it's definitely maybe like there's a good. I mean, I would assume that it's different nowadays just because of everything, because agriculture has changed, you know, just over time. So it's like, of course, you know, technology's better, and you know, people have figured out ways to, you know, create hybrid plants, whereas maybe back in the day it was kind of like you planted the seeds and it got water and it grew and then you smoked it and it's like, all right,
that's probably it, right? It was kind of,
but now they can control the environment. They can, you know, they pick the timing, and they've done all the science on it too. So I would assume it is more, depending on the strain, more potent or whatever, different. But at the same time, like, I don't personally smoke anymore, but I, you know, did for years, and especially in college, it was, you know, like every day. But yeah, it's like, it's all what you make of it, you know? Like, you can be unproductive and be lazy and not smoke pot. I mean, I know tons of people that don't smoke pot, and they're super unproductive, lazy bastards. And it's just like, but then also...
so that must be what I'm thinking. It was more of a...
but the fear that was driven into it just from, you know, I mean, like, obviously I wasn't around, but, like, seeing all, like, reefer madness, like you said, or seeing, like, the war on drugs.
What's propaganda films almost,
totally,
in the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Anti-marijuana propaganda.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that it's all like linked, you know, when there's like an agenda for people pushing it. It's like, like the pharmaceutical industry is like, you know, of course they're going to try to...
Well, that's why I can't get mad on them, because they're also legalizing it for everybody. So I mean, of course, yes, it's so they can make money on it, but doesn't everybody still win? I mean, it's going to eventually be more money, like, and blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, right now, like, doesn't it sort of have to go this way? I'm kind of like,
just
I guess
with the system that we're in, it's like, with the whole how our economy works, it's like kind of like, it does. But I think just like how I would prefer to personally, no offense to Starbucks, but I'd personally rather go to a mom and pop coffee shop or something rather than a Starbucks. It's like, I'd rather get pot from, you know, Marty or Samantha down the street rather than go to freaking a Bayer or you know, Monsanto, you know, chain.
I don't know if you know much about the medicinal stuff, but I mean, like, you know, oftentimes you have to find a grower. We were lucky enough to find a grower for her flower.
That's great.
And it is, because then you're dealing with somebody, or at least a small organization, and you know what you're getting, this consistency, and you've looked into the eyes of the person who knows what your ailment is. Not like a doctor or a pharmacist, you know what I mean, in a weird way.
Yeah, that's why the Bayer and Monsanto is like, they obviously don't care about people, you know what I mean?
Well, it's just a product. We're just, of course, and we all got to do that,
which there is an energy to that. There is, like, you know, there's something, you know, about that where it's kind of like, you know, the intention behind it is really important, and since their intentions, I would argue, aren't good, you know, I would say that I wouldn't want to support that, you know, so But,
I totally understand. It's just one of those, like, it is helping other ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's making it legal. It's making you have access to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
it's weird.
The big thing is you can travel at least and not have to worry about getting arrested or something like that, that's really good. So
honestly, that's a huge deal for the same reason you were talking about traveling with your syringes and everything before. With the MS shots you used to have to take.
It just comes down to identity for me, of like, it's one less thing I have to worry about. Like, I've already got a cane, and if I am traveling, I've probably got a bag, like, anyway. So I'm already janky enough. Like, the last thing I need is someone coming up being like,
checking you and having to go through it.
You didn't give a shit when I had shots and I had bruises all over me. So really, what do you care?
Do you do like a CBD like salve too, or like anything like because they have a lot of like cool like muscle rubs and stuff? I
have one that I put on my heart that really helps absorb into my body. But like,
is it Apothecana by any chance?
Papa and Barkley.
Papa and Barkley. Cool.
Do you know that one with the bamboo lid?
I don't know Papa and Barkley. That sounds awesome. Yeah,
it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like the flower. It gets into my body more organically.
Great.
So I'm lucky enough to be in a situation where I can do that.
Yeah.
Not everyone can, but it's...
Yeah. No, this is awesome. Yeah.
It's CBD only, obviously.
Yep. Yeah.
Relief balm, I think they call it.
Yeah. No,
honestly, you just feel the eucalyptus. You feel a little bit of like, you know.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, because I like arnica and stuff like that for soreness and all that. But then my friend got me on this CBD company called Apothecana, and they make awesome, like ointments and lotions and stuff. And
cool.
Do they do some in the tubes too, like creams and stuff?
Mine's just a bottle. You just
Oh, okay, like a hand
lotion.
Perfect,
like a lotion,
perfect.
Yeah. But then I have one that's similar to that, which
I'd
is
sooner do this than Icy Hot or one of the the products that have all the
they're organic, they're natural. It's it's one of those funny things where it's kind of like you would think that this would be like what was promoted in society. You would think that it's like, of course, yes, we want everyone to have
this
like
looks
natural
healthier
stuff.
to me than other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like we want everyone to get educated. We want people, but it's like it's not like that. It's weird. It's like we want
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a
wild.
It's a weird system. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for at least talking about it. It helps us because we really are. I mean, we're still learning. Yeah.
I think. I mean, a lot of. Yeah. I think like. I mean, I too am, but it's like I think a lot of people. It's like it's still relatively a new industry, or at least a recognized industry. Even though it's been around since before. Maybe before we were here. I don't know. It's a plan.
I think
been around
so.
forever. There's just so much like social pushback that people jump on that bandwagon until they meet someone that they're like, oh, it's not so bad. Yeah. Like that's all it takes sometimes. Yeah. So I'll be that guinea pig. I don't care.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's worth it.
Yeah. But it's funny because one of the reasons why I'm out here for acting and all that is because of mushrooms, and that's a whole like funny long story. But but
I've never done. I'm allergic to mushrooms as garden variety mushrooms like that you would eat.
Oh, okay.
So I've never ever partaken in a.
Interesting.
And I've never done acid or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not opposed. I mean,
what are you allergic to in the mushrooms? Out of curiosity, do you know? Is it like
no, I didn't even know there was something you could be. No, I mean, spores, moles, and fungus, right?
Oh, okay. So it's just any of that stuff. Okay.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. This was when I was a kid. I mean, we think it's possible I probably even grew out of the allergy. Maybe. I don't know, but
only one way to find out.
Well, I've had stuff like we've been at restaurants, and even though you say mushroom allergy, sometimes they'll cook something in the same pan or whatever, and I've had like weird breakouts and stuff.
I see your face get like Hy-Vee type pops. It's so weird.
Yeah, my friend's
but I want to have
gluten allergy, and that's why I was kind of nervous bringing those over. I was like, I hope they don't have a gluten allergy because my friend has a gluten allergy.
What is it?
What? Just a couple like.
He brought pastries.
You brought pastries for us?
Yeah, from the Oaks. You ever been down the Oaks?
That's so
nice of you. I would have sat and had it with you before the show. That's so nice of you.
We're gonna deep dive after.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, but so he has a gluten allergy, and we went and got ramen, and he had the gluten-free ramen, but they must have used either one of the utensils or a bowl that they had already cooked in. And he was out.
And if that's peanuts, that'll kill somebody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd think, yeah. Like, I mean, I've heard it's pretty severe. But yeah, so like, it's crazy how allergies work. So yeah, so maybe stay away from mushrooms.
But I want to hear the story because I think from what other people have told me, I probably wouldn't be. The acetylcysteine or silicillin or whatever it's supposed to give you your awakening or whatever.
I think you'd love it. But I think it's one of those things where I think if everybody did it once, I think we would have world peace in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like after a lot of crazy chaotic shit, but I think it would kind of even out. But
well, in time, sure.
Yeah.
Did you hear what we were talking about, the MDMA earlier? Did you hear
briefly
that part?
heard, bits, and I was a little like caught up in.
Am I saying the right thing? Is it MDMA?
MDMA is
Molly?
Like ecstasy, Molly.
Yeah. Whatever that chemical is, DMT or whatever, MDMT, whatever the.
So MDMA is the ecstasy one. DMT is like more like on the mushroom side of things, but it's very.
Is that the one
also.
Joe Rogan talks about?
DMT, yeah.
Okay, so I guess all of this, long and short of it, is our bodies, we already have the ability to produce that chemical.
Right,
All this is just a fucking B12 of it, right?
Yeah.
So if we
what
is
receptors and stuff,
What is it then?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking. I want to hear your
DMT?
story, and then I want to hear your mushroom story, and then I want to know what the heck it all taps into, because you seem to know more about this stuff.
Well,
and I'm
so similarly to how we were talking about, with Nancy Reagan and the hangups and the fears about that. So my dad, when I was a kid, was like, "Don't do psychedelic drugs." He's like, "People get lost in their trips, and like be careful."
That's
when he's giving me the drug talk, and of course, and it's like, it's much easier to just kind of tell your kid, "Oh, don't go over there because there's possibilities of danger," rather than which it's cool. I appreciate it, but
well, I have a different theory on it. But once you're done,
yeah. Well, so anyway, so in college I was smoking a bunch of weed, and I was actually selling it, and it was great, and all my friends and I were getting high, and it was a great time. But
that's why you wrote a paper.
Yeah.
That's all you were qualified to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
that's what college is about. Good
yeah, and then at the time, the guy who I was buying weed from was like, "Hey man, I got a bunch of mushrooms too. Like, if you ever want to buy any mushrooms." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Let me ask my friends." And because I didn't know about mushrooms at all. I had no idea. And I went back and I asked all my buddies, and they were all just like, "Yes, like boom." And here's like, "Take my money." And it was like, pre-order a bunch.
Everyone says it's a very cheap high, right?
Yeah. It's like very cheap. And but the thing is, like, I had no idea what it was like. I thought it was like weed or like alcohol. If you want to sober up, you just
you didn't know you were going somewhere.
No, I had no idea. So like I was like I figured it was kind of like anything else. You just, if you want to sober up, you just kind of stop and just hang out for a little bit, and it's all good. But I always remember when I was a kid, when my dad gave me the whole drug talk, he was like, be careful because people get lost in their trips.
Now that's in your head,
and so it was in my head and subconsciously. But anyway, your
dad is a very bad guide.
Yeah, he's a terrible guy. No, he's great.
No, guide.
Oh, guide. Yeah. Fuck
sure, he's
you,
a
Dad.
wonderful guy.
But I took him, and it's a long story. But at one point, I really I felt sober for a lot of the time, and one of my buddies wasn't having a really great time. He kind of was like going through some things. He tried to throw up. He kind of was like freaking out, and he's like, "I think I'm gonna try to take my
first time on weed. I tried that too. You try to throw it up because that works with alcohol. It doesn't get anything weed out of your system.
Yeah. So so the whole time this was happening, and it was at my place, and there was a couple other friends too that were tripping, and so I was watching this whole thing and thinking in my head like, "Oh man, I guess like he must have ate some bad shrooms," because I didn't feel it. I felt sober. I felt completely sober. Everything that was happening around me, like I was like, this is. I wasn't seeing purple dragons or stuff that I thought what I would be seeing. And so while this is happening, I called my buddy. Who lived down the street, and he was like, he's the guy who had done everything under the sun, and he was very experienced. He was like the acid master, he was like this great guy. Joe Kerr, by the way. Hey Joe, if you're listening.
You're great with the shout outs, man. It's fantastic.
But, he's a great guy. Actually, Dennis Kerr. But,
I'd love to share credit. It's wonderful.
No, he's a really great guy. But and so he came over to help, and while he was coming over talking my buddy down, I was just kind of freaking out and being like, man, like, oh, it must be like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, because we took these at like 10 at night, and like, man, it's been like, this is a lot of crazy stuff happened like with my buddy and like at the house, and I looked down at my phone and it had only been like an hour, and then I freaked out. I was like,
how much more of this
of what if I feel like I'm sober and I feel in control, but I don't have a concept of what's going on, obviously
I need to recalibrate.
Then and also, and when am I going to know when I'm sober? And so then the thing that my dad said came right in the front of my consciousness, and I was like, oh my God, I'm lost in my trip. I was like, oh my God, like, and then I was looking around, and the apartment, I was in college, so I was living in this really shitty house in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, with a bunch of, college kids, and so we were, smoking and partying and shit. Like, somebody threw up at our Halloween party on our steps, and we put a towel on it thinking that one of us would clean it up, and it stayed like that for like a couple weeks, like just, God. And like, it was one of those college houses where like, we had a coffee table in the living room, and people would, get a drink and they'd leave it there, but then my roommates smoked cigarettes, and they would ash in like the empty cups, and you had to be careful if you were drinking and watching a TV show with everybody, because if people would think it's an ashtray, it was disgusting. But so I'm looking around at the house, and while I'm having this moment, and my dad's words are echoing in my mind, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I live in a drug den. Like, I'm a drug dealer. Like, I sell marijuana. I need to go to rehab. I was like freaking out, and luckily my buddy Joe was there, and but I couldn't grasp it. I lost concept of like actual time, because time was I was I had no idea.
So you were just in an apartment during this? You're not like out at Sedona or anything?
No, we should have gone out there. Yeah, I had no idea. It was my first time. I literally didn't do any research on it. It was just kind of like happened. And so while I'm starting to have this freak out, and I'm like, I need to go to rehab. I need to do all these things. And in a way, I needed to change what I was doing, because I was a sport management major. I didn't give a shit. I wasn't going to class. I was literally just playing video games, hanging out all day. Right. And it's like, why am I spending 30 grand in my parents' money every year to
You needed
this
trip to have you realize everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, why am I doing something that I really don't care about? You know what I mean? Like, I should find something I love and that I'm passionate about. Then it'll, like they say,
then it won't be work.
It doesn't feel like work. And it's true. So that was in that moment when after I kind of calmed down and Joe was like, you don't need to go to rehab, chill the fuck out. Like, what do you, like,
good guys coming in.
Yeah. Like, get a hold of yourself, man. And I was like, I had this
Airplane.
moment. Yeah, I had this moment where I was like, oh, like, what do I want to do? And I was like, I love sports, but it's like I wasn't gonna make it to the NBA. I mean,
not with those knees.
Yeah. Now look at what would have happened. Look at what would have happened. I would have had a terrible. Yeah. And so I was like, well, what do I enjoy doing? And at the time, I was in an acting class for fun as an elective, and I really enjoyed it. I was learning my lines. I was going to class. I was having fun, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to audition for the program. If I get in, I'm gonna go full steam ahead and change and change my major and get in and then try it out. And so I did. Long story short, but it was because of because of that experience I had, and and it was. But so that's why I'm actually out here.
So many people, like Steve Jobs equates, his enlightenment or his whatever, his ability to do the things he was able to do to his acid trips
it's
or whatever.
It's a perspective changer. It really opens up our perspective and like
once you can see things from other perspectives, then you're like, why would I look at it from over there still?
Right. And for me, it helped so much because similarly, while I was thinking that I was sober and that I was like witnessing everything and that I knew every single thing that was happening, that's how I went through a lot of my life, was kind of through my own lens.
Well, that's your human, putting things in your own little boxes and wherever you think they
and
go.
Like,
and
I know this,
true.
that's this, and I know that, that's so and so.
Move on.
I know this person, they're this person, and that person's a terrible person. And it's just like, no, like
you put him in a box and move on.
Yeah. It's my whole life up there, and so that was really like, holy shit, like I don't, like we were talking about earlier, like I don't know anything, like I can have an idea or concept of something, and there are certain facts.
You can lean into it as heavily as you want, but you don't know shit.
Yeah, so it really helped, and it's still a constant thing where it's kind of like, I try to catch myself judging or thinking of, like, and because it still happens, it's natural, like my mind is always like, oh, I know what that is, and then it's like, no, wait, you don't know what that is, like that, you don't know that person, who the fuck knows what they are, so.
Isn't it cool when you get a little gift though?
It's
when
nice.
you put in the time to your instinct is, don't get involved with that over there, but you do take the time to let's just see whatever, and then sometimes
best friend. It becomes the most amazing thing,
or a business opportunity or a whatever the heck. So and so knows somebody, and it's like a small world. It's always something
incredible,
little gift.
And so I think that if you can possibly find out if you're allergic to mushrooms or not, you should try it. I fully advocate for it.
But isn't acid the same thing?
No. So it's similar though. But acid is.
And I've never done acid either. I should say that again.
Acid's great too. Acid's like, I've done it once. It's not like I'm not like I do it every weekend. But
that's the type of thing I hear. You kind of you don't need.
That mushrooms I have heard are like. One-shot deals,
I've
like
done
once in a while.
A handful of times in my life, and like honestly, it's I like to do them either when I'm kind of at a crossroads, or if like you're saying, like if I can go to like a Sedona or like Joshua.
That's just what I've always heard. People go out to the on Entourage. They went out to Joshua Tree. I think.
Yeah. It's Joshua Tree's an amazing. You've been there? Have you been? Yeah, and it's an amazing place, and it's just anywhere like Yosemite, Joshua Tree, any of these incredible places where you can just be out and unplug and just kind of be with your thoughts and be with the people around you and be with nature.
Nature's supposed to be a big part of that process.
The Earth's frequencies, getting in tune with all that stuff, just getting grounded in general.
Being in the apartment, in the gross, disgusting crack den of an apartment that I lived in. But honestly, it's also one of those things where, and my buddy Joe said this again. Hey Joe, now I got to tell him to listen to this. I haven't talked to him in years. He's got a kid and stuff, and he's in dad. Like
it's good. You're going to help our subscriber base.
Every psychedelic experience, every trip that why they call it a trip is like you really it's a full experience, and like for better or for worse, actually my friend Nathaniel says this. Hey Nathaniel, shout out to Nathaniel. He's like, psychedelics will take you to the top of the mountain and you take in the view, and then you come down and you're back down, and then it's up to you how you want to interpret the view that you had, but it's a view of inner life, it's a view of like yourself as like not the body and the idea of what we are, but like us. Yeah.
The essence.
And so they're incredible, but I really highly recommend a certain level of responsibility with them, just a respect for them. You know what I mean? Because it is an incredible thing.
Yeah, you're not coming on here today as an advocate for you should go do.
Like I wouldn't want to take acid, and I wouldn't want to go to the mall. I wouldn't want to be like, because I would just lose my mind. Probably, I said.
Sounds like sensory overload.
Right? Yeah, and also, but also, it's incredible with psychedelics. Like whatever's in your subconscious or whatever's you've been kind of thinking about or going through, kind of also gets pushed to the forefront. I've experienced at least because. Like with paranoia and stuff, you know what I mean. So if I'm already nervous, and
I don't get very
out,
paranoid.
That's amazing. That's great.
But it's because I've grown up around people who got very, very fucking paranoid.
So
My
you've
mom,
seen it, and you're
her,
like, oh, it's a waste of
So even when I do have the vape pen or whatever, the paranoia is not something I struggle with.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Why? What do you think I do? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It's attempted a joke.
But the thing is, but what's fucked up about it is that when you're in that paranoid state, like you're not, or at least when I'm in a paranoid state, I'm not seeing it from the outside being like, oh, you're paranoid. It's like, there's no time to think about like
that's the zoom in.
People,
that's the human problem too, is people get too zoomed in on, oh, this mug is the problem, whatever. And it's like, if you just simply zoom out and give your attention elsewhere, that mug is not bothering anybody.
Right. Yeah.
It's only a problem for you now.
It's our own fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, F and B's and sorry.
Those who are paranoid, it's inside.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's what's wild about psychedelics, because they do bring everything from euphoria to fear to whatever you're going through, and you kind of like experience it, and then it's up to you whether like you're gonna still like run away from it or be afraid, or if you're gonna embrace it and be like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm creating all this fear. Oh, I'm creating this paranoia. Oh, like it's all like, yes, maybe this person is doing something that I don't agree with or that I don't like, but also it's my perspective on them and how I'm relating to them and how I'm, reacting to them. It's all this, it's a lot of our own personal impact that we get to examine, which I love about the psychedelics. So I really think that if and when you ever want to or get the opportunity.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just in the little bit you've gotten to know me, would you consider me an open-minded person?
I would think, yeah.
I do too. I take pride in that because of, like I said, I don't know shit. That's all I know is that I don't know anything. Right. So it's pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
I was curious it seems like my fear is, this is somehow going to lock me off somehow. It took so much work to get so open to be able to get perspective from, to be able to zoom around anywhere. It's almost like, well, what would this do for me then if I have what it's supposed to do for me? You know what I mean? Like, is that who knows?
So that's the thing too. So they say like with meditation, they say they say what we can get through psychedelics. They say
Kundalini.
But it's like what we have through psychedelics is like a fraction of what can be obtained through meditation.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, like it's like we have these receptors, and like yes, I can like have this psychedelic experience, but I can find the same experience through meditation and the same this kind of perspective opening and shifting experience. So so it's like, well, just meditate then too. But
and breathe, breathing can do it.
But there was something so just nice about. I don't drink anymore, like I kind of stopped too. I don't know if
we don't drink either.
Like I just kind of like lost taste and lost interest and
all the above a couple years ago.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to do this. Why am I doing it? And so I stopped.
It was never good in the first place for us anyway.
It's funny because like sometimes I'm like, like drinking, there's so many good times, but then I look back and I'm kind of like maybe like a handful of times were really actually good times.
You think it unlocks something in your personality so you can be a different person or something, especially if you're struggling with that when you first find drinking. Because all of a sudden it's like, this is a magic elixir. I can be who I want to be.
Right.
That's a disaster. It's a bad road. It's all based on phoniness. And
it is. Yeah, it's.
I'm not knocking drinking for people who do drink. It's not that I have no issues with drinking.
Yeah.
It's just it never really did agree with me, and it's ironic that was the one I sidled up with. Yeah. And while I declared pot the enemy.
Right.
The adult life, like me who has the open mind now is kind of like, well, one lets me open it further, and one absolutely shuts me off to everything. It makes me angry, and it makes everyone else angry. Why would I want that?
Yeah, why? Yeah, and it numbs a lot of things for a lot of people. But not the knock drinking. But so since I don't do that, and I do enjoy the social idea of it, like for me, like psychedelic experience, like going out with friends for a camping trip, is like incredible. Like it's a really nice. yeah, it's just especially when you set that intention to go into it to have this, you know, positive opening experience. I think it's beautiful.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
I think it's great that you're at this early age that you've got so many positive things happening for you. You seem to have your head on right and you're thinking the right way for your future. I'm I'm happy to know you.
Thanks, man. You too. Yeah, but I'm also, you know, I'm 30. I'm not, you know, like it's like I'm, you know, I feel like I'm kind of an adult.
But I'm 40. You know what I mean? So to me, you're a kid.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And you look like a kid. You could be 22. I mean, I'm sure you could still probably
I haven't played
play under 25 easily.
Yeah, no, I never. Yeah, one day though. One day. But no, it's So no, but I do feel like, you know, I've you know, I've lived a lot of life. You know, but maybe I haven't. You're like, you don't even fucking know.
No,
like,
I'm not saying that. Everyone has their own thing.
Yeah.
My shit happened when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My dad died when I was young, and I went through a bunch of stuff, like a tremendous amount of family stuff, and a tremendous amount of stuff that adults don't even have to go through until they're Some never
really
have to go
old.
through.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? All that stuff, I kind of always took it with me and didn't really put it anywhere. It just always sort of was part of the package.
Right.
It wasn't until a few years ago where you kind of, all of a sudden, your old bag of tricks isn't working for you anymore, and you have to
unpack it all and just,
and you just have to go through it all. So it's one of those, I don't know what age that happens, but I know that I can't look anyone in the eye and be like, you're 60, you know more than me, you're 18, you know less. It does not work that way. We know a 60-something-year-old guy who comes to Breakfast Club who it doesn't matter, but he's not as put together as he thinks he is, and
that's the paradox
but he
too,
looks
right?
at me, and my age is the issue with why he shouldn't be listening to me with what I say, and it's like, cool, then I can't help you.
I get that.
But I'm not going to talk to you anymore because I'm going to go talk over here to some people I can help.
No, I get that with you know, bringing up my dad again. Hey, Dad, shout out. No, it's like, but no, he's the same way. He goes, you know, he would tell me, he would like, you know, talk to me because I'm his son, you know, and I'm always going to be his son, and I'm always going to be, you know, the like in his eyes maybe, you know, this child, and so like he would tell me like he knew what was, and speaking about pot, he was very much anti-pot, anti all this stuff, and so in college it was this big, you know, thing, and to an extent he was right in the sense that like I needed to change directions, not with necessarily pot, but with what I was
for what you wanted to
doing.
do. That wasn't going to get you there.
You're right, but pot was kind of got the blame. You know what I mean? It was kind of like because it's societally like, oh, we need like let's
when the
blame
truth
that.
is you were on the wrong path.
Right, the truth was just I was not. Yeah, I can totally like anybody can do anything with like while smoking pot. You know, you can do anything. It's just like, you know, it's not about the pot. Yeah, it's not about the pot.
You are right. I learned about watching you. The more you talk about your dad, that's all I can think.
Yeah, but yeah, and you know, God bless him. Like he's becoming more and more open to it, and especially in his age, he just had a knee replacement over the holidays, and so I'm like, man, look into CBD, look into medicinal, and
at least for the rubs,
exactly,
the bombs,
and so like. But he's still like, you know, very, you know,
he's not receptive
a little bit. Yeah, he's also he has a lot of pride, and you know he's very he's
sticking to his guns.
Yeah. He's a stubborn guy, and I know that because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and so it's kind of like I'm stubborn too, and I see it. But he's getting open to it, and I think within the next 5 or 10 years, I think my mom and my dad are both going to be using.
I think it'd be
CBD
less
and stuff. Like
I think
that.
it'd be less because everyone else will be within the next year.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to. Is your? We should wrap it up here. But
Sure.
is that a real thing or is that a show?
This is the show that I think I was actually might have been wearing this when we met, possibly. I don't know. It was either that or another sweatshirt that I had. But I wore this because in the great email I sent, it's like wear dark clothing, and I was like, I got dark stuff.
The set looks bigger if we all dress dark.
Yeah. If I just blend in, it's just like my
tiny room
thing. No, this is for a Netflix show called The Society. That'll be out, I think, June 6th. Or June 4th or June 6th.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you're on that, too.
Yep, I'm a high school football player.
So you ended up getting the part. Is that the story that you were talking about before?
Which one? No. This is the...
No, that was
that was a separate... Yeah, that's right.
I've played many high school football players in my life. That's another part. Yeah, but, which is funny because I never played football. I mean, I played in, like, Little League, but I played,
You're
basketball.
too little.
Yeah, but check it out. It's cool. It's kind of like Lord of the Flies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and a couple other little mythologies, you know.
Lord of the Flies because that's amazing.
Well, I don't know.
Bunch of kids on an island.
Well, it's similar to Lord of the Flies in a way that it follows a bunch of kids, and you know they're coming to terms with a freak circumstance or something that happened
You're being very careful with your words,
Right,
obviously, which is good. But this sounds very interesting.
No, it's cool. It is. It's a cool concept, and it's really and it's cool. And I hope
It doesn't sound football-y at all to me, so I might be into it.
Yeah. No, it's not about the football. Yeah. No, it's cool. It's about the kids and like the human condition and life. And but yeah, it's called The Society, and June 6th or June 6th.
Alex MacNicoll, how do people find you? How do people stay in touch with you? Social media?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Oh,
I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
It's cool, I guess. Yeah. So yeah,
you don't want people to follow you?
No. It's just I mean, it is what it is. I don't know, because like I look at Instagram nowadays as like an addiction almost. Like because for me at least, because I find myself getting on it even if
it is an addiction.
Even
for
if
sure.
I have a clear thing like, oh, I'm gonna get on it to just real quick friend this person or to
no,
search
because there's a red thing, and then you go down that whole thing. Click on the red thing, and then there's 6 more red things.
Yeah. So I look at it almost as this unproductive, crazy addiction, whereas like I think a lot of people view pot as or like or weed, and so
you're totally right. But for us, it's a place to get the creativity out. Do you want people to follow you on it or no?
If they want to, yeah. It's just my Alex _MacNicoll, and but yeah, and then. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook, but do people still do Facebook?
I still have it, but man, every day I debate whether to yank it or not.
Well, you can't really delete it, but yeah.
But there's so many people that are still on Facebook that aren't on the Instagram, where I'm kind of like, it's irresponsible for us to yank it, even though I kind of want to.
Yeah, it's still a good tool to keep in contact with people.
You don't have to go on and respond to everyone.
Sure.
Like, you can just purvey it.
Yeah, like once if you let that control you and like, oh, it's an anxiety storm just happening. Yeah, but
it's all too
but
much.
If you can just let it go and but it's cool.
Well, thanks for being here, man. I hope you had fun.
I follow you on Instagram.
I follow you on Instagram.
I hope that it is good. There are good things.
Yeah.
I hope that you enjoyed this experience. I hope this was fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Any other shout outs?
It's not that you need to. Is there any other friends?
I didn't say hi to my mom. I don't know if she'll ever. But
yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
Hey, Mom. But no, thank you for having me. It's
awesome.
Been awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for coming over, man.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ryan, tomorrow we've got Nate Adams from Chassis Media.
That's
Corolla's
exciting.
Place. Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. Thursday we've got Rhodes Scholars. Cam Ingram's going to be here. Charles Stanley's going to be here. What? It's the big Porsche week. And the lit show and everything. So everyone's coming into town. Yeah. So normally there's all the open houses on Thursday. We're going to be working here on Thursday, but for very good reason. Charles Stanley and Cam Ingram. I know it's going to be fun.
This doesn't have to do with Bob's Big Boy, does it? The car show over there? Is that
no, but we go to that sometimes. Have you ever been to that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've meant to, and yeah.
We didn't even get to this, but you're moving. You're moving to New York as of next week.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll
find me in New York.
I was going to say, make this a stop when you come into LA. Hit Newcomb's and hit the show.
And Bob's, which is right down the street. That's not too far.
That's right there. You just follow it over here, right down the side. All right, so that's it. Nate Adams tomorrow. Love you, Mrs. Ryan. We love you too, Alex MacNicoll.
Love you.
Love you, Nate. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We love all of you at home. Love one another, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Every day. Every day. Wow. That's incredible. That's a lot.
Friday's Breakfast Club.
You're right.
About
it. So you go to Newcomb's and you just hang out. You just chat, shoot the shit.